You're watching News 12 on your side.
From the station that's on your side, this is News 12 at 6 o'clock.
Just had a look at the weather. We've got some rain heading our way. First alert, Chief Meteorologist Riley Hale standing by with what you need to know ahead of a rainy into our week.
But first, all new at 6 o'clock, he was the youngest member ever elected to the Richmond County School Board, and he was dead a week after the election.
Anybody who knew Tyreek knew it was more to the story.
The GBI ruled Tyreek Robinson's death a suicide, but his family believes the chapters leading up and following his death cast a shadow of doubt over the narrative.
They tell our I-team they want the truth, no matter what it is. Senior investigative reporter Liz Owens investigates the death of a politician.
Well, and the truth is Tyreek did have a lot going on the month before his death, including allegations of stealing $250,000 from his mentor. She went public with that the day before his death. We uncovered what Tyreek had not made public. He was pursuing assault and battery charges against his mentor's ex-boyfriend from an incident involving the three of them at a casino last spring.
911, do you need police, fire, or an ambulance?
I see anybody. My brother committed suicide.
Okay.
Money?
Dispatcher, you'll see.
He wasn't answering calls or something. Just something told me to come check up on him.
Do you know if he was going through anything? Or?
Yeah. He just got district 6.
Tyreek Robinson had a lot going on the month before winning District 6 and becoming the youngest member ever elected to the Richmond County Board of Education. The 20-year-old learned he was going to be a father for the second time. He was receiving backlash from aligning himself with new candidates. Rumors began circulating on social media over his sexuality. And the day after the election, his mentor, Melissa Oden, accused him of stealing $250,000.
To anybody who knew Tyreek knew it was more to the story.
We found it's a story full of unexpected twists and turns, with an ending just as baffling as the chapters leading up to his death.
Ask the brother if he moved the firearm. Or did you touch the firearm?
Yeah, I moved it.
Okay.
Investigators with the Richmond County Sheriff's Office did not recover any fingerprints on the gun, despite Tyreek's brother moving it. According to their investigative notes, neither did they recover prints on the mags, rounds, AirPods, 2 cell phones, or a knife, all in the bed next to his body. The gun itself, no serial number, so no record. Investigators state they could not recover the number. No footage from the security cameras either. The investigator notes he received an email from Comcast's legal department advising they do not have an account with the listed address or camera system for Tyreek Robinson. The I-team asked the Richmond County Sheriff's Office, is it odd or unusual not to be able to recover any prints, security video, or the serial number on the gun found at a suicide? We made a request under Georgia Open Records law for the email from Comcast to the investigator. The Sheriff's Office replied stating the email was deleted. The I-team asked their IT department to recover it. They replied, IT was unable to recover the email. Your questions have been forwarded to the sheriff. Also perplexing, dispatch did not receive any calls about gunfire from the apartment complex that Monday or Tuesday. The GBI autopsy report found everything normal, down to fingernails. No mention of gunpowder or blood on his hands. They did not perform a toxicology. The official calls it death on the GBI's report suicide. When was the last time you saw him?
That Monday.
Kim Gowdy last saw her son the day before he died, when he left her house to go to Perry, Georgia.
He was going to Perry, Georgia for the board training. As far as I know, my husband, his dad, they found the key to the hotel, but I can't say.
The I-team made a trip to Perry and asked if Tyreek ever checked into his room. The clerk told told us she can only give the person who made the reservation that information, which would be with the Richmond County Board of Education.
He was looking forward to, to the, training and stuff, so I don't know what made him come back.
Photos from the scene of his apartment show a bathtub full of water, Tyreek naked in bed, ankles crossed in a blanket, pulled up and tucked around him. Richmond County investigators wrote in their notes that they were unable to access security footage from his apartment, so we don't know when Tyreek returned home from Perry. However, deputies at the scene did see where the alarm on his door activated.
That door was open at 9:30 last night. He was in Atlanta at 9:30 last night. Mama said whenever she talks to her sons on the phone, both of them, him and the other one down there, she checks their location just to see where they're at. And said his phone showed him in Perry, Georgia. Suspicious?
Tyreek's family found the most suspicious piece of this puzzle 3 weeks later when investigators returned Tyreek's 2 cell phones.
All the pictures, all the video, and most of the pictures of him and Melissa, their text message was deleted. Call log from her was deleted.
Melissa Oden is a businesswoman, owner of several local nursing homes as well as other businesses. She told the I-Team she was Tyreek's mentor and business partner in a trucking and transportation business. Oden also helped him with his campaign, even going as far as to ask her friend, former Commissioner Ben Hassan, not to run against Tyreek. She also contacted us the Friday before Tyreek's death, texting Liz, Melissa Oden, I have a very important story to tell you about a newly elected official who has been stealing.
I went into the iCloud. I got in touch with my oldest son first. He took work with me and told me how to do it. I went in the iCloud, paid the $9 for the storage, cut the phone off, rebooted and did all that. The messages and the pictures came all back up.
The files Tyreek's stepfather recovered paint a different picture of Melissa and Tyreek's relationship. They went to a strip club together. They went on trips together, including Harris Casino in Cherokee, North Carolina in May of last year.
Tyreek went out of town with her. He called me. He said, Mom, I got something to tell you. He said, don't tell Pop. I said, what? He said, I got into a fight. He said, I was protecting her. Her ex-boyfriend came here.
According to the incident report from the Cherokee Indian Police Department, Melissa's ex-boyfriend assaulted her and Tyreek. In her statement to police, she says the ex-boyfriend flew all the way here from Texas because he heard she was going to be here. Oden stated he thought there was something sexual happening between the two of them and came to confront Robinson.
He said that Melissa wanted him to not go forward with it.
This text from Melissa to Tyreek after the incident at the casino was among the recovered files on his phone. Ty, Lindsay wants to know how much for you to write a letter and not to press charges. $8,500? Actually, make it $10K.
He said, Mom, I gotta go forward with it.
Melissa herself emailed the district attorney in North Carolina asking for their court date to be moved due to the original date falling on Election Day. Tyreek died before the rescheduled court date, and before he could go forward with the charges, and before Melissa changed her story according to Tyreek's mother. What did she recant?
The whole story. She said she blamed on Tyreek. She said Tyreek was the aggressor.
The I-Team reached out to Melissa. She asked us what she said in her statement to police, and for us to send her the police report from Cherokee. We did. She replied with her attorney's name. Randolph or Randy Frales represents Melissa Oden. He also represents the Richmond County Sheriff's Office.
And she has decided that it's really not appropriate for her to even comment on this issue that occurred in Cherokee or anything that may have occurred with the young man Tyreek, who is now deceased, who committed suicide.
I just want to make sure that this isn't a conflict of interest with you representing Melissa and the Sheriff's Office.
I don't even see where a conflict arises where I represent Melissa Oden and represent the Sheriff's Office also. I mean, she didn't cause his death. She wasn't involved in his death. It's quite evident that this young man, anybody who commits suicide, they must be dealing with some issues that the world is they went committed suicide. And, you know,
It's real. It's like a nightmare you keep waking up from.
A nightmare because the family believes the whole story about their son
So am I doing my report as a unattended death or
might lie in the missing puzzle pieces.
suicide? All evidence points to it.
We are still going through the files the family say they recovered from Tyreek's phone, which they hope will help to connect the dots to something they believe is much bigger than their son.
A tragedy with so many questions there lingering. Liz, thank you. A developing story now out of Columbia County. The Columbia County Sheriff's Office says the chief investigator for the district attorney's office is under arrest. Authorities say Trevon Baker is charged with terroristic threats and acts. In a statement, the DA's office says he's been placed on administrative leave.
Pretty warm day out there today, and unfortunately, we've gotten very accustomed to this quick spring, but you say it's going to be changing pretty soon.
Yeah, unfortunately so, Laura. We got up to 80 today, so one of the warmest days we've actually seen since November, believe it or not. But things, unfortunately, are going to be changing heading into our Friday and Saturday. So starting tomorrow morning, I would definitely again by Saturday morning. Here's a look at that commute forecast. Once again, temps will be in the 60s. We'll be tracking a few showers. Those will continue through lunchtime and then a little bit cooler by the afternoon. Stick around for the full forecast coming up in just a little bit.
All right, thanks, Riley. Coming up, it's a road project months behind schedule. All new at 6 o'clock. We're checking in on the Flowing Wells Road project after 4 years of construction.
Plus, our morning anchor is Nick Protos. He finds a second home in a local bowling league. A look at how his break-in news team is doing when we come back.
Get 2.9% APR for 36 months on a new 2023 Toyota Corolla. Toyota. Let's go places.
We all have hobbies, and it turns out one of our morning anchors has a love for bowling.
Will Vogt caught up with Nick Proto to see how his bowling team called Breaking News came to be.
Nick Proto's been knocking down pins his whole life.
Nigga rang. Not me. I grew up bowling. I bowled when I was younger a lot. Went out with some friends one day. Bowled pretty well. I was like, I should see if there's any leagues.
He found one. He just didn't have a team. So the bowling alley randomly created one.
So this is Robbie. Robbie's our leadoff man. This is the legend of Ralph. The guy standing up is Alan. He's our best bowler. He averages 216. And then his son-in-law is Ryan. His stepson is Ryan.
Together, they became Team 5. Proto had low expectations.
Honestly, I thought we were going to be trash.
And at first, he says they were. But over the weeks, they got a new name and got better. What once was a group of strangers is now Team Breaking News.
Teamwork's great, man. Team breaking news, team chemistry's off the charts. It's a lot of fun. We get on each other a lot, but it's all in good fun, and we have some success at the end of the day. That's big right there. That's big out of you.
Right now, they're competing for first in the league. Proto says it's all about having fun.
Attaboy, Rob.
But they're here to win, too. Just ask Ralph.
There's certainly more breaking news to come.
There he is. There he is.
In Augusta, Will Vogt, on your side.
Needed that one.
Yeah, if you've ever competed against Nick for anything, cornhole to bowling, you know that it's not just about fun. Which is why there are no other news members on this team, because nobody else was good enough to be on Nick's bowling team.
All I heard is he stole our band name and put it on a bowling league, and he's the only member from our station. So legal is definitely going to get involved in all this conversation.
Oh,
but
my gosh.
Nick, good for you. Good friend group there.
Yeah, it looks like a good time. And if you are interested in keeping up with Team Breaking News, Nick gives bowling updates Thursday mornings at 6 o'clock right here on News 12.
I have to DVR that one.
You can keep up with
in case you can't get up early.
breaking news of breaking news.
That's fantastic. Riley, where do you stand on all this?
Hey, Nick's an athlete, man. He plays all types of sports. I've golfed with him. He's a great golfer. I said he was an okay golfer last show. He got a little upset about that. But
walking it back.
He is a great basketball player, too. He actually has a great jump shot. So he's a full-on athlete. And obviously, bowling falling right in line with that as well. So love to keep it up with the breaking news team now. Hey, we're looking at Doppler Max radar by this time next week, next Thursday, and not much rain in our forecast once we get past tomorrow.
Sounds good, Riley. Thank you. Up next, engineers explain why crews are still working on Flowing Wells Road 4 years later, and when we may see that project finally start to wrap up.
The accident was not my fault.
When you're injured, you need help fast. Call George Sink Injury Lawyers at all nights.
You need someone that's going to fight for you. Call now.
Call George C. Gentry Lawyers at all nines.
A former teacher's aide who used to work for the Richmond County school system is in jail charged with child molestation. Deputies say he's accused of touching and then licking a child's foot at the Urban Air Adventure Park. These are some photos shared with News 12 showing deputies talking with Rollins at Urban Air. They say it happened on a Saturday, January 14th. They arrested him just yesterday.
It's been about 4 years since construction crews started working on Flowing Wells Road. The project was supposed to wrap up at the end of last year, but here it sits.
Delays are frustrating people who live in that area. News 12's Nick Veland live for us in Columbia County, where he talked with the Director of Engineering Services. So, Nick, is there any timeline on when we might see this project finally finished?
Yeah, Richard. Well, the earliest end date is in April, but weather always an unknown factor. Can just keep on pushing this project further and further. But neighbors in this area are just ready for this to be all wrapped up.
We're ready to see it done.
Chadwick McCrickard has lived on Flowing Wells Road for more than 20 years. Over the past 4 years, crews started to widen the road from 2 lanes to 3 lanes with separate turn lanes throughout.
We needed the upgrade, needed the improvement. I just hope what they have is going to flow that traffic.
Chadwick understands the growing pains even if it's right in front of his house.
What I tell everybody is the price of progress. You've got to look forward as to what's coming versus just what you're in the middle of, and that's, pretty much anything in life.
And this isn't the first time he's dealt with construction in his front yard.
When we went through the school construction progress, it rattled pictures off of our house when they were building that school. And people would ask, didn't that bother you? It did, but look what we have now. A $20-something million school that's no longer an eyesore, but a nice part of the community.
As for delays with the project, COVID-19 and supply chain shortages pushed their original end date back by months.
We personally had trouble getting toilet paper, but these folks were waiting on pipe so they could put it in the ground.
Weather was also a major reason for delays and could end up being the reason for even more delays in the future.
It's understandable, but we're looking forward to it being done.
And again, the county is optimistic to have this done by this summer, and Chadwick says that by the end of this all, he's excited to see what it will turn out to be.
And Nick, we'll keep our eye on it. Thanks for the update there.
And if you're making those weekend plans, it's looking a little bit cooler Saturday, but warming right back up into the 60s by Sunday. Another full look at that 70 forecast just after a quick break.
Thanks for watching News 12 on your side.
Let's run!